What's up,
Cool.
everyone? I'm John Laird from 101X Homegrown. I'm joined by Stretch Panic. We got Cassie, we've got Jen, we've got MJ. We're all here together in the midst of post-snow apocalypse. Did you guys make it out of all of that okay?
Kinda.
For the most part.
I feel like in general, all of Texas, that would be their answer was kinda. Like it varies in degrees as to how much anyone actually made it out of that whole thing. But either way, you guys have a new album that came out on the Friday of the snow apocalypse. It's called Glitter and Gore. It's already one of my favorite releases from the first part of the year, not just out of Austin, but just in general. It's just like a really fun, quirky album with vampires and horror stories and just all kinds of stuff. I know this has kind of been in the works for you guys for a while, but kind of tell me about the album. I know some of the songs were reworks and all kinds of stuff. This just feels like it finally came together for you.
So Glitter and Gore is like a collection of 13 of our most haunted tracks. And also we worked really hard to do the best for these songs that were in our core set from when we started around Halloween in 2016. So yeah, a lot of these are classic songs, but we really wanted to put together an album that felt quintessential to the Stretch Panic and the Stretch Panic vibe. So yeah, so they're all songs that collect together that's going to be perfect for a Halloween night. There's vampires, there's a whole like collection, right? You got ghost songs with demons, songs with vampires, there's a zombie song, and then there's just like and a song about a witch.
And then surfing.
And then there's some like spooky surfing. You gotta imagine like skeletons like surf rock dancing in the graveyard.
Is this sort of theme that you guys have just a collective thing amongst you, or is just sort of one of you that's like, no, we're going down this path? Or I've been kind of curious since I've been listening a lot these last, or it's really like 6 months since the first singles kind of started rolling out. But is this just sort of like a collective interest amongst you guys?
Yeah,
both of them.
A little both. I think we all like love the Halloween kitsch. I think that's just fun. I think all of us are 80s kids. We grew up in an era of like really funny, awesome, bogus Halloween horror films that were just like, you don't get the same kind of vintage of films and media. And I think we all just we just have a fondness of that in our heart. I will say also that, I think as long as I've been a songwriter, I love to write ghost song stories and songs about horror movies that I watch and songs about, I just love Halloween and like cool, morbid stories. I've always been like an inner goth since I was young. So
and Jen's always done Half-a-ween
yes
in Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there's 6 months to Halloween and we could still start celebrating Halloween.
You start the ramp up. You got to get all the way there. Yeah. As someone with a wife who is constantly listening to things about murder, true crime,
that's me.
Any of that stuff, Halloween,
ghost stories, supernatural.
Even if it's the most casual Halloween party of all time, she's like, well, I'm dressing up. So I get that.
Same though, same.
Yeah, I get that part. I will say, so also in addition to just, the ghosts and vampires and monsters and all the stuff, is there also kind of that drive to make, like you guys make the most just sort of fun, upbeat songs? They're not spooky songs other than if you listen to the lyrics. So is that juxtaposition sort of on purpose? Did that just fit kind of like a stylistic choice?
I think it's both. It's definitely a juxtaposition. It's kind of like that whole "They Might Be Giants" thing, where if you like really read the lyrics, you're like, "Gil," right? So there's kind of that, but also I think that like we don't get too serious because this particular project uses music as like an escape, right? Rather than like it's a way to get away from like all of the serious and harsh stuff, because things have just been like really harsh and scary, and like we kind of like formed during that time, and you know, Jen's got that whole rockin' like bass guitar like rhythm drive, right? And then MJ just is always riding these hooks. So throw it all together, right? Along with playing like pocket drums, and it just comes out that way, you know.
Yeah, it's the most catchy, fun stuff. It's why I took to it so fast when the first single started coming out, because I was like, oh man, this is such a like little. It's like a bright ray of sunshine in the middle of a year of a pandemic and all this other stuff, but it's also like the lyrics are spooky in their own way, and it just feels like, I don't want to use the word kitschy because it's way more than that, because it's like art pop to me, and it's just like, it's really cool to kind of see this just sort of driven like approach to something. It doesn't really feel scattered, even though maybe for some people maybe it sounds that way, but for me it's very like focused. Like you guys have this sort of fun all over the place thing, but it's like weirdly driven down this road, and I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that idea that it is deep kitsch.
Deep kitsch. There we
Deep
go.
kitsch.
New
Kitsch go
genre.
pop.
New genre. We just created it here on this virtual Homegrown Live. We have a new genre in the works, and as of now, there's only one band, but that's okay. So.
It's perfect. We also are the only ghoul pop band.
and Gore, there we go. We've got a lot of just unique names that go with you guys. So the album is out now. Are you happy to finally have it out? Is it weird that you had to put it out in this whole thing, or you know,
Kind of kind of feels fitting. we tried,
you know, that is actually
we tried to release it so
true.
many times, you know,
Yeah.
so many times, and we kept having to push it and push it and push it. It was originally supposed to come out like in April of last year, and we tried, and then we tried for October, and then we're like December, and then we were like January. It did keep getting pushed more than people even know from behind the
Right.
scenes. You know, so it's we're really happy to have it out, and you know it was kind of fitting that it came out during Snowpocalypse. I was just kind of like, yep, that makes sense.
That's why
And
now
then we
I'm
just
putting on my moody browser light right here, so I can
There we
get
go.
the silhouette.
You can channel the ghost vibe.
So, does this mean, do you guys? I mean, I know this has kind of been in the works for a bit, but do you guys already have a bunch of other songs worked up?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have a few songs that didn't make it on the album just because they didn't really fit with the theme, because there's slightly a little bit of a digression in theme.
Yeah, a little away from the straight up vampire vibe, you know.
Fair enough. Do you feel
Yeah.
like you guys will try to move on those pretty quickly, or do you think you might sit on them for a while?
I don't know. I think we're really taking it one day at a time, to be honest.
Good question. Good question.
To be fair, we live in a world right now where you can only take it one day at a time. If you try to do too
Agreed.
many days at once, it's like, oh no, I'm completely lost in this
Yeah.
thing.
Such a push to get this album out for so long. So I mean, I think we'll probably like take a collective breath.
I also kind of want to squeeze this album for all it's worth, for
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
like the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. I want to get
Might as
every
well.
cent's worth out of that before
Yeah.
moving on.
So speaking of that, then for the rest of 2021, like what else do you guys kind of have in mind? Are you going to try to do some virtual shows, or just, you know, see if maybe touring comes back, which seems maybe possible in the fall? Like kind of
Maybe.
what's on the calendar?
We had a Texas tour right before the pandemic hit, planned with our friends Day Eater.
Mhm.
And we were so excited. We had some pretty dope venues lined up, and then everything happened. I still have a pipe dream that is, we're going to be able to make that happen at some point, because I definitely want to do that. But we also all have, I mean, like the pandemic brought on a lot of changes in our lives. I'm going back to college, you know, and MJ and Jen had a lot of changes themselves. So there's a lot to factor in the equation now. you
Yeah,
know?
I get
I
that.
think we're just kind of resetting, and we'll take it from there. I mean, I wish I had more of an answer of like, we have this to promote and this to promote. I'm sure we will, but like we're taking it day by day.
I'm always
Trying
just
to be really
curious to see
intentional about
what
we do.
Yeah, I'm always just curious to see what the answers are there, because some people are like, we are going to definitely do this. And then a lot of people, which I think is personally a bit more realistic, are like, oh, yeah, well, we don't know. Which I don't fault at all, because I don't even have music to like tour on or anything. And
Yeah.
even I can't
Yeah.
tell you what I'm doing this summer.
Right.
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 So I don't blame anybody who is like, I literally have no clue.
Yeah.
Next.
We have things. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it did at least kind of work out that weirdly that we had our full album that we've been, during this time, the pandemic, releasing singles, and now we released the full album. Like, we had all of this recorded that we've been sitting on and kind of preparing. So we've been doing, like kind of the business behind the scenes side of the band stuff. We haven't been like playing together much and working on new songs very much. We've been, but I am weirdly grateful that we had music to put out. And so we've been able to still like kind of take the band in a different direction for a little while, and then we'll, see what we're able to do.
Yeah, the last one of these I did was with Sun June, who just put out a great album called Somewhere. And they had finished recording like right before like work from home, right before the pandemic stuff all came in.
Yeah.
And they felt the same way, which was, we got really lucky that this was done and we got to just roll it out at our pace throughout this whole thing. So you guys fall in that that box also, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I certainly, like, again, all of the tracks have just been really great for me and all this, because I'm like, oh man, these are just really fun. So
yeah. It's nice to have something to put out, and it does feel good. We have had some people say like, hey, I'm thawing out with your record. It's like a nice break from like, everything that's happened. So that's been nice. And also this interview has been like a reason for us to see each other and play instruments together for the first time in literally a year. Literally the last time we all had our instruments on together, we were saying, what are we going to do if South by gets canceled? That's the last time.
Yeah.
So it was really great to see everyone, and we played out on my back deck. I back up to Walnut Creek, and all my neighbors are like musicians and nice people, so they put up with me. And so we recorded on the back deck, and it was just a really nice experience. And we did it the week before the winter apocalypse hit, and I was just like, thank goodness we did it that weekend.
A few things have aligned with this whole thing. If you're watching this, we tried to do this last week, but suddenly no one had power or internet or water or could feel their face or anything. Like, well, never mind. And speaking of that performance, which is going to be up here in just a moment, I have been doing these now for about a year. After a few months into the pandemic last year, my program director Lynn was like, might be time to just pivot here and do something different. We're not having live shows right now.
Yeah. So
we've been doing these virtual homegrown lives, but everyone always does like a really scaled down, cutesy little like acoustic or like keyboard piano driven thing. You guys actually play a set in what you submitted for this. And I mean, as if I don't already miss live music a lot, but it so badly made me want to go to a show watching your set. So right now, I'm going to make you pinky swear that when this is done, your first show back and my first homegrown back will be together. Okay, so we're pinky swearing together. This is going to happen because it was just so good. I was so happy that you guys submitted like a full set. It was just really cool to see.
It was actually really nice because someone, the apartment complex back there, a couple of them came up to the creek line and watched us, and they were applauding. Nice. Like, it's like a show.
I don't know if you guys saw, but last year Mobley, who is just like the most talented,
he's great. He's so great.
Out doing curbside shows for people. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And I just did a bunch of stuff with him for this other thing. But I was asking him about it. And he was like, yeah, I don't know if I would like to do that again. But also it's like a lot of work to set up. But I was like, worth it though. You should.
It brings so much joy.
And do that. So I don't know. Maybe something to consider. Stretch Panic curbside shows.
Do it at a bus stop.
There we go. All
Do
right,
it at
guys.
the park.
Well,
Do it in a graveyard. That would be perfect.
let's do it.
Right?
Let's
First
set it
real
up.
homegrown back. We'll do it. It might be, you know what? It might be too tongue-in-cheek morbid to do the first homegrown back after a
Oh
pandemic
my
in a
gosh.
graveyard.
I was
That's
about to be
true.
like,
That's true. That's real
Yeah.
sharp. That's
know
real
what?
sharp.
Well,
Ooh, that
we're just
digs.
brainstorming here.
But let's just, yeah, that's right. There's no bad ideas. No bad ideas. All right, everybody. Again, I'm John Laird from 101X Homegrown. This is Stretch Panic. Their album Glitter and Gore is out now. Please go listen to it. It's fun and quirky and upbeat and just so many great songs on it. As you know, because I've been playing you guys in the show constantly for a while now. But
Thank
please
you.
go check out the album. And then the trio here are going to play, I think you guys do 3 songs, right? In the
We did.
set.
We did.
And it's so cool. If you need more details, hit up 101x.com. Otherwise, MJ, Jen, Cassie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have
for
a
that. It's
really
so fun.
have a really great night or day. Or
Ah.
my office got really dark during this interview, but thankfully I have the ghoul shadows, so it's okay.
There you go.
Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Fingers pointing,
Screaming heresy,
what did I do?
I guess my own thing. Burn me alive at the stake.
With my black nails,
In my black tongue,
got my wild ways.
it don't mean I'm wrong. Oh, burn me alive at the stake. Blame the woman, blame the woman, blame the woman,
It's time to Wicked thing they say,
pointing my way,
strip me naked now.
stripping my
I'm so alive at the stake. Heaven my skin,
number 666
nano bees.
can save me from this.
And you want it gone, I can't help you. I've done enough. Just a little girl, just a little one. I've had no that forgot